Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making stuffed pepper meatloaf in the Copper Chef XL. Okay guys, I'm starting out on my Copper Chef XL and I'm just going to mix all my ingredients right in here. No need to use a separate bowl when you have the Copper Chef. I'm going to need this hamburger container. I have roughly about a little over 2 pounds of 80/20 hamburger or ground beef, whatever you want to call it. It's not very lean, but I'll drain the excess grease off later. I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. Okay, now I have 1 onion and 1 green bell pepper I diced up. Now this isn't actually going to be a stuffed pepper, but it's going to taste like a stuffed pepper in meatloaf form. And this is something I'm making up at the top of my head, so hopefully it turns out alright. Now I have some rice here. This was about a half a cup of rice, but rice stretches. I'm not going to use all this. I'm going to use about 1/4 of a cup of rice. And I left this cool off for a while, so it's not hot to handle. And some people like a lot of rice. You add the amount of rice you like. I've already had stuffed peppers and stuffed cabbage where it was like 50-50 rice and beef, and I just don't think that's good, that kind of ratio. Let me give my hands a quick rinse to get this rice off. Okay. Now I'm going to add in some garlic powder. I'm eyeballing my spices, guys. I'm going to go for about a teaspoon. And you want to make sure your meatloaf is well seasoned. You don't want it bland. I'm going to add in some onion powder, about a teaspoon. Even though I have some onion in there, onion powder gives it a different flavor. I'm going to add in some oregano. We're going for about a teaspoon of everything. Let me take the cover off this to make it a little quicker. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. So these measurements are really easy to remember. Now we're going for a half a teaspoon of celery seed, because celery seed goes a long way. And if you like fresh celery, you can put that in instead, but I like celery seed. I'm going to go for about a teaspoon of salt. And that might seem like a lot to some of you, especially my buddy Mark, who's on a salt-restricted diet, but salt adds flavoring. So if you can't have that much, don't add or add very little in. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of pepper. So all my ingredients, my spices, were a teaspoon each, except for the celery seed. That was a half a teaspoon. Well, I'm going to add in 1 egg. And I'm going to put in some Italian seasoned breadcrumb. I'm going to go for about 1/4 of a cup. And if I need to add more, and I will. I'm just going to get in here with my hands and mix everything together. And like I said, in the Copper Chef, there's no worries. If you were doing this in a regular skillet or casserole pan or something, you would have to mix it in a bowl and then add it in here when it's formed into meatloafs. And this is smelling like a stuffed pepper, guys. See, I got the pepper and the rice in there and everything else, so we're in good shape so far. And I think I'm good on the breadcrumb. I just want to get everything mixed together well. And I'm going to form this into 2 meatloaves. I can make 1 big one, but 2 smaller ones will be quicker cooking and easier to get out of the pan. Okay. Okay, now that I have everybody pretty well mixed together, I'm going to divide this into 2 meatloaves. And you want to get them similar in size. They don't have to be perfect, but you switch this around. The closer you get them, the more evenly they'll cook. And I'm making sure my ends are tucked up under. I'm going to go ahead and form this one. And a little bit of pepper and onion you see in there, and a little bit of rice that's loose. That ain't going to hurt anything, so don't worry about that. And you just want to make sure you pack them tight so they don't come apart while they're cooking. Okay, we're looking good, guys. They're not perfect, but they'll be good. Alright, now I'm going to add water in here. You want to come up about 1/4 of the way up on the meatloaf. So we'll go for 2 cups of water. And not to worry, we're going to cook this uncovered. That water will help steam the meatloaf and make it moist, and the water will cook down, evaporate, and whatever's left will drain off. So I'm going to put this in a 400-degree oven for 40 minutes, and then we'll pull it out and we'll put the topping on, and I'll bring it back. Alright guys, my 40 minutes are up. I took this out and drained the excess water and grease off of it. My one meatloaf split a little bit. That's alright though. It's going to be okay. I'm going to take 2 10.5-ounce cans of tomato soup and pour a can over each meatloaf. Let me get my spoon and get the rest of this out of the can. What this is going to do is it's going to cook on here a little longer and give us a delicious sauce to serve with the meatloaf and give it that stuffed pepper taste. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in that 400-degree oven for another 20 minutes uncovered, and that'll allow this tomato soup to cook down into the meatloaf. And there's a little bit of water left in the bottom of the pan. The meatloaf or the tomato soup that runs down will create a sauce with that water. So I'm going to bring this out after 20 minutes, let it rest for a few minutes to set up so it doesn't fall apart when I cut it, and then we'll fix up a plate. Okay guys, my meatloaf is done. I left it rest for that 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and cut into this, guys. Oh, look at that. Does that look delicious or what? And by letting that rest, it helps it to hold together. There, that piece is falling apart. That's where that split went down the middle. As you cut beyond that. Alright, let's go ahead and fix up a plate and see what we got. Guys, I went ahead and I put some of that tomato soup over top of the meatloaf. You can see how nice and thick that got. And I made a southern pan gravy for over my potatoes because I like gravy with my potatoes. Let me taste some of this meatloaf, guys. See, it's cooked through. I see rice, I see pepper in there. Nice and moist, not dry in the least. Tastes like a stuffed pepper without all the work of having to stuff the peppers. And you can see I got my rice is about a 30% ratio to the meat. It's not overwhelming the meat. That's really good. I'm going to taste a little of these mashed potatoes and that gravy I made. That's really good. Alright guys, there you have it. Stuffed pepper meatloaf in the Copper Chef XL. Give it a try. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya.